Hey, this is Rob, and I know a lot of people who get plenty of sleep, or at least they think they're getting enough sleep, but they feel tired when they wake up in the morning or they're fatigued in the afternoon. So what's going on? A lot of advice on sleep focuses on how long you should sleep. Every adult should get 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. And while that's important, what's at least as important is the quality of your sleep and the overall efficiency. So what do we mean by quality and efficiency? So it's fairly common for people to get 7 or 8 or even more hours of sleep and still feel tired and go, geez, I didn't sleep that well. Or maybe you do feel like you slept well, but you don't know because you know what? You were asleep. So during sleep, you go through 4 stages in multiple cycles during the night. You have a stage of very light sleep while you're falling asleep. You have another stage of light sleep that is important but doesn't do a tremendous amount for your body and your mind. And then you go through a stage of deep sleep where your brain literally gets cleaned out of all the junk that accumulated during the day and your body is rejuvenated and repaired to make you ready for the next day. And the 4th stage of sleep is what they call REM sleep, rapid eye movement. And that's where the dreams happen and a lot of sorting of your thoughts and emotions during the day and even getting rid of some of the bad thoughts and bad emotions happens. So it's super important that you go through all 4 of these stages and go through them fully and well. And then guess what? That happens again and again and again. Normally, on a night of good sleep, you'll go through all 4 of those stages 5, maybe 6 times. You might wake up slightly between each one, but you probably won't know it unless you're having a bad night of sleep. Then you might notice that you're waking up each time. What becomes really important is if you wake up in between each of these cycles and you're unable to go back to sleep, that's of course a big problem. If you're tossing and turning and waking up without realizing it, that can have a tremendous effect on the quality of your sleep and you won't even know it. One of the big problems that people have is falling asleep okay, but then waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to go back to sleep. And you've probably had this happen at least occasionally, and for some people it happens a lot. And you lay there and you stare at the ceiling or you count sheep, or maybe you read a book or whatever it takes to go back to sleep. Now, if that's 10-20 minutes once or twice a night, that's not a terrible thing. If it's taking you an hour to get back to sleep and it's happening on a nightly basis, then you have a sleep problem. Good quality sleep that's efficient means you're going through all of the stages multiple times and really rejuvenating your whole body and mind and your emotions. And the way to measure that is how you feel the next day. If you wake up refreshed, let's say 10 or 15 minutes after you get up, you're feeling pretty good and you feel like facing the day, you've probably had a pretty good night's sleep. If you wake up and you groan and you don't want to get out of bed and you dread the day, then perhaps your sleep wasn't of sufficient quality. A lot of people turn to sleep trackers to measure the quality and duration of their sleep. And these can be helpful up to a point, but you need to be careful with them. The studies that have been done on sleep trackers show that they're not 100% accurate, and particularly at measuring the deep sleep that's so important to rejuvenating your body and mind, and the REM sleep that's also really important for how you feel the next day. So if you use a sleep tracker and you use the data to compare how you did last night versus tomorrow or last week versus this week, then that can be useful. Just be careful and don't get too caught up in the numbers. Know that they're not 100% accurate, and the last thing that you want to do is get stressed out by your sleep tracker, which is going to affect the quality of your sleep. Even if you sleep the same amount every night, but the quality is better, you're going to feel much better the next day. So simple things like cutting back on alcohol, picking a bedtime and sticking to it, that's huge. Getting up at the same time every morning, 7 days a week. Getting outside and getting lots of sunshine, which helps to reset your body clock, which determines when you get sleepy at night. Getting a lot of exercise during the day and eating well. Those and many other things that I talk about in my book, Make Sleep Your Superpower, can help you to sleep better. There's a link in the description below to medium.com where I write weekly about health. I'm Robert Roy Britt, and that's what the science says.